Well, again, it depends on many factors, but my first question would be, well, what does the person do for the other 23 hours a day when they're not training?
Hmm.
If they are sitting at a desk, they've got all the flexion they need.
Sure.
You don't need any more. Watch them tie their shoes. Are they proficient?
Hmm.
If they're moving well without any load and deflection, let it be. I don't have a problem with that.
Hmm.
But don't tell me that you're going to take the spine through the range of motion under load
Sure.
to create that athleticism.
Yeah.
And again, these are people who, if they've got 30 folks around the world in the Olympics in London this summer, great. I'll
Yeah.
listen to them.
Sure. Sure. So
I mean,
yeah,
I
carry
gave
on.
you that jujitsu example as well. Go talk to the top. Well, I know a lot of them, and they've come back and they said thank you. We've salvaged another career
Sure. Sure.
by avoiding loaded spine through the flexion range, and that person then reduced their pain, and they were able to train once again to world class level.
Hmm.
But if you think you're going to train through that kind of pain, taking your spine out of neutral with heavy load, I think I can't imagine that you're having success.
Sure. And I think, again, if you want to add to this as well, I see a lot of people walking around the exercise, the wood chop. They'll go from this high position to a low position, but they'll use their spine. Is that the sort of thing that you're getting at? If someone is doing that exercise, so the twisting exercise, and they're using their spine or their obliques or their core muscles or whatever they want to call them to initiate that pull or that twist, that's where the weakness is coming from. They need to twist from the hips and lock the ribs and the shoulders down to the hips. Would that make sense?
This is exactly what we're talking about. So it's not the problem with the exercise. It's a problem with how the exercise is performed. So if you're sloppy and allowing the rib cage to leave the pelvis, and you create rotational power through the core, eventually most people, maybe not all, but most people, they're going to damage their spine.
Mm-hmm.
So the wood chop exercise, I mean, it's a wonderful exercise.
Yeah.
If the motion is through the ball and socket joints, which are the hips,
Mm-hmm.
pivoting around the feet and around the shoulders. But, you can extend that principle to the landmine exercise side to side. Fantastic for torsional power.
Yeah.
But you can't take the torsional movement through the spine. It's got to be through the hips and the shoulders. But, I mean, I can tell you a funny story about that. There was these guys who came to see me, and they brought a slosh pipe, which is a large plastic plumbing pipe, half filled with water, and they were putting it on their shoulders, kind of as if they were racking an Olympic bar, and then they were twisting from side to side, trying to spin the water out to the ends of the slosh pipe. And they said, "Isn't this a great torsional exercise?" I said, "No, it isn't. It's stupid. You're going to hurt your back." And they called me not very nice names. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is great. They've developed some UFC, or not UFC level, but some martial arts and whatnot. Well, I saw one of them a year later
Right.
at an exercise meeting.
Mm-hmm.
He could hardly walk. He'd hurt his back.
Oh dear. Such a shame.
Well, I hate to see people hurt, but I remembered what he called me before, so
Yeah. Well,
I did allow myself a little undisciplined smile.